All right. Good afternoon. I'll give you an update injury-wise. So Micah will be limited today. I know I said he wasn't going to practice yesterday. Ended up doing a little bit of the jog-through sessions, walk-through sessions, but he'll be limited today, and that's it. So we'll open it up to your questions.
Does that seem like progress in that sense? So just like, is he trending in the right direction for Monday?
Well, it seems like progress. We'll see where he goes as far as Monday is concerned.
Sean, you mentioned Christian with the start on Monday night. Is it strictly going to be Christian, or is there any anticipation for a rotation?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Sean, what is Mitch Morse meant to the middle of that offensive line, particularly when you've got two new guys in Connor and Osiris next to him?
Yeah, steady hand. Mitch is one of the first guys in the building every morning, and sometimes that's whether the players are in or not. He comes over for an AM breakfast and just to kind of dip his toe in the water here. He's been a great leader for us over the last few years in particular, and he's just a real steady hand in his daily approach.
He spent more time here in Buffalo now than he did with Kansas City, and you see guys changing teams, and that longevity isn't lost on him. What was it about him that you guys have identified as a core piece that you wanted to be around for as long as he has now?
Well, I think you got to give the credit to him. He's just grown over the years, and not only on the field but off the field. And his family is a great support system for him, and he supports them as well. He's just an outstanding young man and of great character, and just takes his job very seriously, and is very meticulous in his preparation.
Hey, Sean, off topic, your 23rd NFL opener. What do you remember about that first game back at
My 23rd NFL opener? Yeah, I mean, I can tell some stories about my first days in Philadelphia as when I first got my job. Now you're bringing me back in my mind. I think, I'll just leave those stories to myself, I guess, for right now. But great memories. I think it's an honor anytime you can be in the NFL, number one. I was thinking more about just the honor of playing on 9/11, as I mentioned yesterday. I think that's something we're grateful for as a team. Anytime you open a season, it's exciting. Going back to all the time when I was first getting around the game of football when my dad was coaching, and it's always that smell in the air this time of year. And I think the grass smells a little different this time of year. And Friday night you're seeing high school football being played. Saturday afternoons, normally colleges are playing, and it's an exciting time of year. It's everyone's back in school pretty much now across the country, and which I'm sure a lot of moms are happy about that. The kids are going back to school, but no, it's a fun time of year for us.
Sean, back in May, you talked about a conversation you had with Paul Osborne there at St. John Fisher, or the coach there, and just how making the switch or adding an offensive coordinator, you like the fact that you could roll up your sleeves, kind of. Have you found doable and invigorating?
I've enjoyed it. It's been challenging in a lot of respects. Our staff has done a phenomenal job of filling in some of the gaps for me, where I'm not around where I used to be at certain times, and so I applaud them on just really taking a team-first approach, and and then the defensive staff in this case specifically has done a phenomenal job of understanding the strain and the stretch on me. The players the same way. So I can't thank them enough. But I've enjoyed, just overall getting back to your question, John, I've enjoyed being around them more and being in a more consistent presence in the meetings, and trying to solve some of the challenges we have. And I think that's all part of why I do what I do, and why we as coaches do what we do, is just kind of that camaraderie, that fellowship, the challenge, the competition. Yeah.
And it seems players like you enjoy your time with them as well.
Sometimes.
When Jordan Phillips says you're a little bit more colorful when it comes when you're in the defensive room, what do you think he means by that?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I had a blue shirt on today, so maybe that's what he means. I tried to tell them in the spring, John, when I'm in there, I'm the defensive coordinator, not the head coach, because that's the hat I wear when I'm in there, and I want them to see me like that as opposed to the head coach, because I don't want, or as much as possible, I don't want the head coach to, in some ways, pollute the environment, because that can happen from time to time, and so I want them to, just see me as a defensive coordinator when I'm in there.
In line with that, and you may have brushed against this, Sean, in one of your answers yesterday, but I didn't ask you this directly. From the time when you were a defensive coordinator before to now, and maybe you want to get through some games to have a full answer to this question, but how are you different as maybe a defensive coordinator? Has your perspective changed now that you've been a successful head coach in the end?
Well, again, I kind of brushed on that yesterday, Adam, where was asked about that journey and how it's helped me in my defensive acumen, I guess, so to speak. And I think really I'm hoping it's made me a better defensive coach and all-around coach, really, but in this case, a defensive coach, because you learn things when you get a chance to sit on the other side of the ball in their meetings and watching things on the field and hearing some of those conversations that just because of where you're physically located during practice or meetings, when you're just strictly on one side of the ball, you don't get a chance to get exposed to that knowledge, to that wisdom, and it helps you, right, when you cross-train a little bit. And I remember Andy Reid always did a good job with that in my first job in Philadelphia. And in the off-season, he would have us clinic each other, offensive staff, clinic the defensive staff, and vice versa. And I think that was my first introduction to that kind of cross-training, that cross-pollination approach, and I think it's very beneficial.
One more follow-up to that. You had said during OTAs, I asked the question, you said that ultimately you want the defense to take on your personality. That was the quote. How much of your personality do you think you've imparted to that group, and how much of it might we see on Monday night? Yes, this or
Yeah, well, I think it takes time, right? It takes time. It takes going through the journey together over the course of time. So, in this case, we don't have a lot of time. We've got a game coming up Monday night. So I want them to be themselves, but at the same time understand that they're taking on a certain personality. Yes, mine, but also everyone's personality combined in that room, including the staff.
Sean, when Terrell Bernard, he was talking some yesterday about what he did when he couldn't play, whether it was meeting rooms during preseason games just to stay locked in. Where did you see him find most success there of whatever he was doing to make sure he was still soaking as much of that time up as he could?
Yeah, I mean, anytime a player is injured, in this case Terrell, you try and get them to control the controllables. And as a competitor, you want to be out there, you want to be doing everything, and then all of a sudden it's taken away from you due to physical injury. And in this case, he had to maximize his treatment opportunities to get himself healthy and available, number one, but then also soon after that get himself around as much as he could, around the walkthroughs, making sure he was listening, getting the plays during practice, getting mental reps, and then also in the meeting room with Coach Babbage.
Players will talk a lot about those mental reps when they're, just trying to envision everything, but when communication is part of it for his position too, what was he able to do to kind of stay locked into what you guys were doing?
Well, again, I think just staying connected to Coach Babbage and T-Dot, who was, as well as AJ, who were playing the middle linebacker position, and Balin was in there as well. So I think you do the best you can. Is it the same? It's not the same, but just try and stay as close to it as you can.
Sean, yesterday, Steph talked about Josh Allen's focus, confidence, how evident it's been throughout the spring and the summer. What's been different to you about Josh going into this year?
Yeah, I would echo that. I would just say that he seems very intentional when he's in the building and very intentional when he's out at practice. in particular over the last week or so. But I think also that comes with experience. It comes with having certain goals for oneself, like I know Josh does, and the team, and then it comes with leadership and evolving as a leader as well. So I'm extremely proud of his approach, in particular lately here.
Well, Sean, what'd you like about James Cook's camp? Is that, hey, he's ready to be able for a bigger role?
Well, that's earned. I mean, I think that's the important thing to note. Every position is earned every year, and it has to continue to be earned as you go through the season. That's why it's important that you take it on a one-game, one-play approach. And I think James, with the opportunities he had, made the most of them in the preseason. In particular, the first and third preseason game, and then I was able to watch him in practice, along with obviously Doris and Skip, and he's a good football player. So, having said all that, it has to continue to be earned all the way through here as we go. He's just a young player and is just the start of his second season here.
Hey, Sean, we talked a lot about the format two stuff, but Tre'Davious has gone through this entire summer without missing a day after going through
Yeah.
last year. How close do you feel he is to what he was before the injury?
What are you doing here, by the way? I thought you were supposed to be having a baby, huh? Yeah. Did you have it?
Not yet.
All right.
We're not letting him in once.
All right. Yeah. What was your question again? Trey. Yeah, he's been outstanding. The DNA, the traits that Trey possesses, have not changed since the day he walked in the door. To now going on year 7 and the start of year 7. He's one of our hardest workers. Football is very important to him, as is his family. And he's just a tremendous young man, and that works extremely hard to improve every day. And I think he understands and knows last year he wasn't physically able to be at his best, and so now the journey continues to get himself back to where he knows and we know he can be. And I'm extremely proud of the work that he's put in and how far he's come since the injury.
Coach, what does it mean to, maybe not even as a coach, but as a person, to see DeMar going back on the field on Monday after almost full circle with what happened in the last Monday game? What's it going to mean to you emotionally, personally?
Yeah, again, we'll be focused on the task at hand, the challenge. That said, there's a lot of those things that are going to be going on. 9/11, one of them, and then DeMar, as you mentioned, and similar to when I first saw him out in the spring at practice, in the helmet, intercepting a pass. I think I referenced that this spring, and then in the fall, in summer training camp, playing a preseason game, his first game back over here, and making some plays. Like I've said before, just incredible, amazing, all the words, adjectives you'd use to describe something as unique as what he's been through.
Sean, you had said during training camp that your preference was always for a middle linebacker to have the green dot. You were open that maybe someone else could take it. Since the decision, for the starter came down to this week, what made you so confident in having Terrell or whoever it was going to be wear that green dot?
Yeah, again, just who he is. Like I've said before, he's extremely instinctive. Football's important to him. He works hard at it. Again, another young player. And so, I'm excited to see some of these young players really grow through the course of this season.
Sean, Steph mentioned yesterday kind of having a different approach this year, almost taking it back to being a rookie in some ways. How have you seen him change his approach this year compared to maybe?
He's always been competitive, and that hasn't changed a bit. And I think, probably more than anything is just his day-to-day approach of consistent hunger, consistent leadership on and off the field. And, he's willing. He's one of our guys that's willing to hold others accountable as well, which I think is a piece of leadership, a vital piece of leadership. So, just watching him grow and develop on and off the field, has been a pleasure to watch.
Sean, how do you lean on your leaders at this point in the season to help set the tone for the year?
Well, really, it becomes their team, and that's earned. We don't just hand that over, but they've got to take the reins of the team, and I think that takes place over several months, and our leader group, led by the captains and a few others as well, have done a phenomenal job, and I'm proud to say that they're good people, high character guys that want to do things the right way, both on the field certainly and off the field as well, and that's I think that's important, right? I mean, the game of football is important, and we're here to certainly put our best foot forward. But for all of us, the game of football doesn't last forever, and so what lasts is what we leave with the people around us and how we handle ourselves. And those guys have done a phenomenal job leading this team. Good? All right, thank you, guys.